Welcome, everybody. Those who are watching and those that will definitely catch the replay. Welcome to the first live session of Woman with a Voice. I will be presenting H.E.A.L, which represents her elevation always luminates. When you're going through the healing process, there's always steps, there's always barriers that you have to break. So in this case, for those who have had the opportunity to tune into me and all the audio episodes, and those that will have the opportunity to follow up, you will hear a little bit on how I touch on how important it is to heal. And everybody goes through their healing process in different angles, different situations, depending on what circumstances has hit your life and what you have gone through. Beside me, which I'm so blessed, and I want to welcome you guys. For all those who don't know, this is my sister, my co-host as well as my daughter, Nazaya. Even at a young age and to the youth, you will be able to kind of dive in to see that you don't have to be an adult to go through things. This is a lot of times where you see children trauma, and these things get buried deep down within you if you don't take it at its root and start to uproot those things and kind of just deal with those things. So I'm so grateful to have my daughter here beside me.
Hi, everybody.
I truly believe that ministry starts at home.
Yes.
Who would I be to be able to minister to other people if I don't even do it to my own household? So I'm just very grateful and blessed to be able to have my daughter beside me. And not only my sister from another, I love her to death, Miss Charlie Sensei. We've talked about putting together a podcast for many times. We've talked about even being able to collaborate and put many other things together. My sister is an entrepreneur. She's a hardworking mother and a hardworking woman. And I'm just grateful today to be able to introduce you guys, because you will be seeing more of her as well. I'm so excited because today is my first live segment. I've been able to come on, like I said, and do my audios, and just so you guys can get a taste of who is Woman with a Voice. And as I told you guys before, if you were able to listen into the introduction, that this is not about me. You will hear me speak about certain situations on how I got through my things and how did I get to this point of my healing to be able to minister to other women. I'm very grateful because along the ways of me going through my healing process, I needed to be poured into, right? I needed to be poured into. I had to take a step back in my life and realize, like, Toya, you can't just do things on your own strength. You have to go to a higher power who is God. And I started to truly see a change within me, besides having people, because people could tell you all day, I see a change within you, but you got to truly look deep within yourself and be able to say, you know what, I was wrong, or you know what, I've been through this, and I need to start to change the things of my life in order to get to the next step. And let me tell you guys, when you get to a point of where you could truly say that you've healed, you will literally see a breakthrough. And I just gotta say, the women that have poured into my life, I'm very grateful for them. And like I told you guys, and I'm going to say it again, if you have the opportunity to tune into a Woman with a Voice and just tap into the introduction in the first couple of episodes, because there is a healing segment. There's actually a part 1 and a part 2 where I go in a little bit in depth and give you more of what is healing, because everybody goes through their different phases, as I explained. But there is 2 special women that I have to just highlight, and if they get the opportunity to view and listen in, they will know. And I always pay homage to them, because when I was at a very broken stage in my life, my leader, which is of House of Fire, located in Bristol, Connecticut, Apostle Moraima Encarnacion. She really poured into me, and to see another woman able to pour into another woman is so powerful, because I say this to say, and you know, social media is a very big platform. I always see a lot of bickering, a lot of women looking at each other on you know, who's better than the next. And that's what I always tell my daughter, is that you want to strive for better, but never forget where you come from. Not to say that you're at the bottom or whatever the case may be, but you have to start somewhere. And I see too much of this in the communities of where, you know, another woman is in competition with another woman instead of pouring into her. And so what if she might have seen something that you did and she might like it and, you know, might have been encouraged by it. And I see it in too many instances where another woman is saying, oh, you know, she's copying off of me, or you know, she's doing this and that, when it's really about empowerment. So I'm just really grateful for Apostle Moraima, because when I needed her, when I needed someone, when I couldn't even go to my own family, I was able to go to ministry. And this is where I started to see my healing. Apostle Modi had poured so much into me, as well as Prophetess Ebony Gordon, which is my mentor. We just had a very big Bloom event, and we were able to honor those women. And I was like so grateful to even just be in the company of other women who want to work with other women, who want empowerment. And Prophetess Ebony not only dedicated this event for us, but it was in honor of her mother, who has passed on. So I just want to pay homage to those two women. I want to give a big shout out to my House of Fire family. I love you guys dearly. And I'm just grateful to see that the steps I'm coming out of my comfort zone and being able to pour into other women, men, and children. And I'm just going to pass the baton on to my daughter, who is my co-host. And she will be introducing Charlie Sensei, and later on you'll be able to hear a little bit from her. So I love you all. God bless you.
Yes, so as my mother was saying, we're gonna, you know, pass the baton on to Charlie Sensei and let her talk, tell you guys a little bit about her testimony and all about healing. So,
hello, here with my sister.
love.
And as she said, this is like a beautiful moment where there's no room to be fake.
That's right.
We two sisters that had the same vision, but didn't know where we were going with this at all. We didn't know. We just knew we just wanted to do something.
That's right.
And through the grace of God, she called me a few days ago, out of the blue. Like, we're gonna do this and we're gonna make it happen. And we're here, we're gonna make this happen. I'm Charlie Sensei. A little bit about Charlie. Charlie is a survivor. Charlie has dealt with healing. Charlie has dealt with a lot of trying things in her life. Charlie's not afraid. Charlie foresees things. Charlie puts God first. I'm also a mother to a teenager who is 14 years old, who is dealing with these facts of life right now. You know, whether it's good or bad. You know, and I thank God that I was in a broken place in life, really broken, to the point where you wouldn't even want to conduct yourself around me. I didn't even know who I was. But I came to a place after, you know, dealing with domestic violence, getting my head beat in, you know, dealing with all those things. You know, you would think, you know, you would get knocked to senses, but God had came into my life, and if it wasn't for my Shiloh family and my pastor, Pastor Hampton, who stuck on me every Wednesday at Empowerment, yeah, says, Charlie, you got this. You got this. So I just want any woman out there who is feeling broken, depression, any of those things, it shall pass. It shall pass, because those are normal feelings that we deal with. But knowing how to deal with it is a major key. Just look to God. Because trust me, I do wake up some days still feeling like, oh, Lord, I'm tired. Tired. Sometimes I just feel like throwing in the towel. You know, suicide mind is real.
Yes, and we
Suicide in the black households are so real today. From our kids to our parents to us. And us being single mothers at the same time.
Yes.
Like, it's so real. Like, being a single mother today is like, it's no joke. So, like,
we have to put on many hats.
yes.
We have to put on many hats.
So many hats.
And it does, sometimes it can be overwhelming. But when you get to that phase in your life, and you know, and you truly believe, because there is, and I want to speak to those, because, you know, since you and I were believers as well as Naziah, you
Right.
know, and sometimes
Definitely.
faith, and this is one of my favorite scriptures in the Bible, faith as small as a mustard seed can move mountains. And let me tell you guys, I lived on that scripture. I was like, I don't care. That's just me, and that's actually my daughter's middle name, and that's a story within itself. But faith is what always kept reminding me, like, Toya, you're gonna get through your storms. You're gonna get through your trials, no matter what comes your way. And like my sis, you know, Sensei said, you know, those things will come sometimes where you feel like you're overwhelmed and like you just want to throw in the towel.
Yes.
Like, that's it, and stuff. But even sometimes the things that they did, it was passed on generational.
Right.
So, you know, they get conditioned as to, okay, I taught you this way, so now you have to do it this way. But sometimes that ain't always the right way. So you even have to heal from some things that come from your childhood. And I'm just so grateful, like I said, to see my sister here and how far she's come, and she's doing her thing, you know, stepping on entrepreneurship. She's a cook. Besides, you know, working a 9 to 5, and, you know, just exploring the other different avenues that she wants to do for herself. She is doing a thing, and she's come to a place in her life where she's acknowledged her pain.
Yes.
And she's took the steps to want to heal. And we can sit here all day. We could go back and forth and talk about all the situations that we've been through. But I want to really encourage you all, if you haven't tuned in to the segment of the healing portion of part 1 and part 2, it will give you a better understanding, because like I said, you can have people talk to you all day, and we can share our testimony, and I pray to God that it hits or it touches at least one person. And that's what I always say. As long as what I say, and I know in my heart that we're doing the will of God and what He has intended us to do, and if it hits one person's heart and it seeps within them, I know that we've accomplished something for the kingdom. So,
Amen.
We're having a little bit of technicalities going on here, so I just want you guys to just please be patient with us. Like I said, today is my first, and it is our first segment of Woman with a Voice going live. And I appreciate all those that are all still tuning in. But just please be patient with us. Sis, did you have anything else that you wanted to say?
I just want to add on again a little more about, you know, because we're going back into like the holiday season,
Right.
you know, and I noticed we're in that time where a lot of people's losing their parents. In the city of Waterbury, where I'm born and raised, it's a lot of deaths going on.
Yes, we had 5 homicides in 1 week.
And I'm not from that era where all of this was going on. And it saddens me to see this going on in my city. Because that was once upon a time, Waterbury had ordinance. There was respect.
Yes. Yeah.
There was respect for women and children. There's no respect. It's like all the gloves are off now. What's going on in the city? So it's like all the real leaders have fell off. So it's like now, where's everybody at that re-industry? Now, I know I plan on being an advocate for my city. We got to get it together.
Yes.
We have to get it together, because now I feel like I'm in a space now where, you know, I've been there, done that. You know what I mean? Yeah, I had a lot of things going on in my life, but like my pastor always say, you are more than the sum total of the things that are going wrong in your life.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Yeah, you see the glory, but you don't know my story at the
That's
same
right.
time.
That's
you know what I
right.
mean?
That's right.
So Learning to not be a part of your environment is a major key. You know what I mean? Yeah, it could be a bunch of violence going on, but knowing how to get up out of that.
Your mindset.
Your mindset. You have to change that. And I'm just really, really happy that we have everyone tuning in who should be hearing it, because everything ain't for everybody. And that's major key. Everything isn't gonna be for everyone. Everyone isn't gonna be for you. Every place may not be for you. People, places, things. Put God first. And just know He will restore everything. Everything you lost, He definitely will restore. Because I've been homeless, slept in cars, had nothing. Look at me now. Good.
Yes.
I'm good. I wish I would worry about anything. Long as I know I serve that man God, He gonna supply every need that I have. Every need.
That's right. That's right.
And anyone who doesn't like me, hey, I know I'm gonna touch your heart still.
That's right. Yes. Because the Lord says that we must, even those that persecute us, we must still love on them.
Yes.
We must still love on them.
Yes.
And I always say this too, that, you know, what a person says, it might not relate to your situation.
Right.
But I know whether you're a male, female, and child, in some point of your life, and even those that are watching now, you might be still in a place of unforgiveness and bitterness. And those are the two root things that happens. And you need to be able to forgive someone. And you got to get the bitterness uprooted up out of you. Right. Because you can walk around all day and dress it up with the flyest clothes and drive a car, do all these things with materialistic things. But you got to truly ask yourself, am I happy within? Because like I said, a lot of us are walking around and we'll say, oh, I'm good. Mm-hmm. I don't need this person. You know, but when you're all home by yourself and all you got is your thoughts.
Yes.
Nothing but your thoughts. Are you truly happy within? And then you got to ask yourself, where does my heart lie? Because many of you are walking around still with unforgiveness in your heart. And that's a lot of times too, people don't realize that holds back the blessings of the things that God wants to do in your life.
Absolutely.
You might feel like, oh, okay, I'm good, I'm straight right now. I accomplished this particular thing in my life, but God wants to do so much more with you guys. I don't even think you realize that, and I'm speaking from a place of experience. Right. If you've listened to my testimony, I did my testimony back last year sometime, I want to say in October. And I'm not going to sit up here, and I always say this because I'm very transparent with the words that come out my mouth. I had to get to a place of healing. But where was Toya at before I got to my place of healing? Because I could come up here on this platform and talk and act like my life is perfect, but that's not the case because none of us are perfect. I had to get truly to a place, sis, and you know that.
Yeah, definitely.
You know that. You know, for most people that don't know me, they'll be like, oh, Toya, she was quiet in school, or, you know, she stood to herself, but I'm human, and at some point I had to grow up, and in my life of growing up, I had to go through things. Even as a child, I harped unforgiveness and resentment towards certain people, and I had to get over that.
Yeah, I was angry.
Yeah, I had to get over that.
I was really angry, and
I had to get over that. And then as a parent, when you become a parent, you don't want to show your child that type of behavior.
Right.
Because then it leaches onto your child because
right.
You're feeding them. They're feeding on what they see out of the household. So I had to let my daughter, even as her now, she just turned 13, I had to be an example for her to know that you might not like something. You might not like something because in life we have our dislikes and likes of things. But don't let it get too deep in your heart where it starts to consume you. Right, you know what I'm saying?
Right,
because
absolutely.
Once it starts to consume you, all types of other things start happening. You might get sick. You know, things just might rapidly start happening. But that's because you're opening those doors to the other side. And there is an other side. A lot of times people think, oh, you know, I'm praying to the universe. No,
Mm-hmm.
There's truly a God. Yep. And He is living. And then there's an opposing party, which is Satan. And let me tell you, he lurks around 24/7. And if he can find someone to dwell in or send his little minions to operate and do his business, he will.
Yes, sir.
He will do that.
Say that thing.
You know what I mean? He will do that. So I'm just, like I said, I'm speaking from experience. I had to come to a place of forgiveness in my heart. And for one point in my life, I think I was like, oh, you know, I forgave that person. And it wasn't until I attended events. Because like I told you guys, I started to go to, I gave my life back to Christ. And I began starting to go to House of Fire Ministry and became, you know, a member of the church. But I had to start to feed myself with the things of God. So I started to attend certain events and things like that. And I have to shout out, and I don't want to forget him, Pastor Elwood Palazzo and the CCBOC church in Bridgeport. I send you guys lots of love and lots of respect because every year he holds an event which is called Broken to Be Made.
Right.
Says you gotta go to that. I know you've reached a
And
place in your life
me.
where you're healed, but the me versus me.
Me versus me.
Yes. Broken to Be Made.
Yes.
It's the
Me
event
versus
is
me.
called Broken to Be Made, but it is called Me versus Me.
versus me.
And in that event, it was such a powerful event because he literally, well, it wasn't him because there was other women that was around in the ministry helping, assisting with the guests and everything. And he literally had us saying the names of people who we thought we had forgiven. And when I started to say the names, it was like, wow, Toya, you haven't forgiven those people, but today God sets you free because you were still stuck in bondage because of that.
Yeah.
So let me tell you guys something. Forgiveness is one of the biggest steps that you can make when you're stepping into the form of wanting to be healed.
That's right.
And I could talk all day here. I'm going to pass the baton over to my daughter, which is my co-host, Nazaya. And she's gonna take over for right now.
Yes. Well, hi everybody. As my mother explains, I am Nazaya Rodriguez. I am her daughter, and I just want to say I appreciate everybody that stuck it out with us because we did have a few technical difficulties. You know what I'm saying? So I just appreciate y'all that's still watching. You know. So you know, I watched my mother, you know, build this podcast up, you know, by herself, being a single mother. And I told her, because the generation now is so different from how it was before, you know, my mother telling me how she was raised, and then now, you know, like how other people like my age, you know, are being raised. It's very different. So I told my mom, you know, like she should have somebody like, you know, youth come onto her podcast and talk, you know, about how they feel about certain things and just how it is living nowadays in this generation. So she had me come on, and not gonna say too much, I'm gonna cut it short, but I want to talk about, you know, just me and how a lot of young people are dealing with a lot of stuff. You know, sometimes, you know, we say, well, you're not going through depression because you got, you know, food on your table and you got a roof over your head, but depression goes very deep. It gets very deep. Me being a young girl that does not have my biological father in my life, which I'm blessed because, you know, I never really had to go, you know, without. You know, we had those days where we barely, you know, have food on the table, but we made it through and Mom stuck it out for us, you know. So, but I wanted to talk about how not having a father, your biological father, could really affect you. Because, you know, nowadays we see a lot of, you know, like young girls looking for love in all the wrong places, and we say, oh, you know, she's being a fast, you know what, or she's being a hot, you know what. But sometimes we gotta look really, really deep. Like, it's deeper than us, you know. And, you know, I belong to a church that's very spiritual, and we say, you know, the spiritual realm is more realer than our flesh, you know, more realer than our flesh and bones. So, yeah, you know, me not having my dad, you know, I held a lot of unforgiveness, but you gotta think about it. I had to think about why my father is the way he is, why he made the decisions that he made, because it goes back before him. And I don't want to be all over the place, but, you know, generational curses, you know, like my grandfather what he did, what he struggled with, his father's father. It gets very deep. But yeah, so, and I also, just wanted to talk to the mothers, that have, young girls. Don't put a lot of weight on them, especially, if they don't have their father. It's a lot to deal with. And try to understand them and talk to them, one-on-one, and have a little bit more patience, because like I said, this generation is very different from the other ones. It is very different, especially with everything that we got going on now with gun violence and stuff. So yeah, I just wanted to share, a little bit of my perspective, and I am gonna talk about a lot of more other stuff like depression, suicide, and stuff on another day. But I definitely wanted to talk about, how it is being young and, living in this time and not, having my biological father. Especially because, and I don't like to, I'm trying to find that word, compare myself to others, and with their situations, because everybody's situation is different, like they say, some people say that physical abuse is worse than mental abuse. Some people say that mental abuse is worse than physical abuse, but it depends on how the person is. It depends on how the person is and how they take it. Yeah. Because everybody's different. Not everybody's the same. So yeah, that's really, all I wanted to talk about. Just be patient with your kids, with your daughters that don't have fathers, because it's hard living in this time, and especially because, all the social media and stuff, girls now feel like they have to look like this to be accepted. Or,
Absolutely.
They gotta have big butts,
so
big boobs,
On Facebook, like, do you see
they feel like they have to look a certain way to be accepted, or act a certain way to be accepted. So if you see your child acting a certain way, don't just, sit there and ignore it. Understand why they're acting that way, and just try to keep your eye on your kids, and just be patient with them, because it's a lot dealing with kids this generation. We're very different.
Oh yeah.
We're very different,
Definitely a different breed.
But
I can agree with that.
We're also different because we're in a time now. This is where I'm gonna start, to talk about God. The reason why we're acting, we are the way we are. I know. The reason why we're acting the way we are, the reason why we do act the way we is because now we're living in a time where it's getting closer to the end times, which means that times are gonna change. Which means that nowadays, not to be all over the place, but now in churches you see people, dressed with sweatpants on and a baggy, just dress regular like they chilling in the house. But that's because we're in a different time.
But it's come as you are.
Yes.
He sees us for who we are.
Oh, yes.
You know what I'm saying? And that's where we get caught up at. When you go to church, you see what she got on?
Mm-hmm.
See her outfit? Oh, she must got it. And they forget the whole point of
it's not about what a person,
what you even came to the service for.
Yep.
You left focusing on her stockings, and she didn't have shoes on, and her hair is well dead, and missed your whole blessing in the process.
Yep. And that's exactly
wrong about the wrong things.
And that's exactly what I'm saying. We're in a different time now, where we're getting closer to the end times. So yeah, kind of all over the place, but I'm just trying to stick it out. A little bit nervous. It's my first time being on my mom's podcast, but yeah, I'm definitely gonna talk a lot more, because I want the older generation to understand why we, as young people, Gen Z, whatever you want to call it, why we are the way we are. But God coming back soon definitely has a big part in it, and that's why you see sin getting so bad like it is now, like all the gun violence and just a lot of extra stuff, like abortion and all that stuff is getting really bad, because God is coming back soon, and it is what it is. That's why everything is getting bad like it is. So we just gotta stick it out, keep praying hard, and just let God do his thing, because God has a reason for everything.
Yes.
But so that's really all I wanted to talk about. Everybody, I hope y'all have a blessed day, blessed night. And I definitely will be back on a little bit more prepared, but blessings to you all, and I'm gonna pass it back on to my mother.
Well, you did good.
Thanks.
You did good,
A little bit nervous.
and it's all about.
She loves you.
It's all about being real, because life is real.
Yes.
Like I said, we could get on the cameras, we could do all of this and that, but this is straight raw, and we live this life, and it's not easy. And coming from a place of being in a sinful behavior, or coming from a place of brokenness, and trying to get to that place of where you can truly say that you're healed, it's all a process, you know. And it's not for you to be hard on yourself, but to just open up your heart and to know that don't try to do everything on your own. Don't lean on your own understanding, but give it to God, because He is the ultimate healer at the end of the day. Right. And like I said, I'm just being a prime example of that. And since the starting of A Woman with a Voice, I've had many people who've been able to call me, and they said that they've been blessed by this. And it's not for me to get the credit for it, but it's to give it to God, because He's got me to my place of healing. And I'm still growing as a person. I'm still growing as a person. I'm still growing as a mom. Even with this, with just even coming out of my shell to do a podcast, I'm growing out of my shell to be able to open up and to share my personal information, my personal life with others, and hoping that it will enlighten someone and get them through their circumstance. Sis, did you have to include anything else? Did you have anything else to say?
Yes, I do.
No, go ahead, speak. Speak.
So, I started podcasting a year ago. I went on a girls' trip, 2021. Went to Myrtle Beach. And 2020, yeah. I went to Myrtle Beach, and around that time I was dealing with some stuff that if you would tell me yesterday, I would have been like, no. And I came back, and I just started recording myself, and I just started sending them to certain family members, certain people who I know. When I pick up the phone, they have a story, and here you go, baby girl, or here you go, my brother, here you go, because we've all came to a place, or you get yourself to this place in life where you say, you know what, I feel like I can help somebody.
Yes. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, instead of poor me, you know, the poor me playing the victim. Playing the victim.
Yes.
You help somebody. Like,
you pour into them.
I pour into others.
What was given to you, you give to somebody else.
So when I started sending them, they was like, who is that? It was like, who is Charlie Sensei? Sister with a voice, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So it was like, who is she? I am she. I am she. Anyone that knows me, you knew of me. You knew of me. You don't know me now. And I'm gonna get, as you see me today, you will see more of me.
Yes, Lord.
Because it took me a lot to get out of my own way to actually do this, and that's what we all have issues with, getting out of our own way.
The fear of getting.
You know what I mean? Really letting loose of that mask and just letting him have his way. You know what I mean? So that's pretty much wraps it up for me. And you know, I'm gonna have have other discussions. You know, as far as you know, these teenage girls, as my niece spoke on. You know, certain topics that we as minorities brush up beneath the mat, like molestation. You know, having kids with disabilities and having patients dealing with them, having kids in school who are IEP students, and you just don't know what the Board of Education is doing. We're gonna have those type of discussions. You know what I mean? So that's what Charlie Sensei is about. Thank you.
Yeah, you got to get through breaking those barriers.
Yeah.
And that's why I always look at it as this world is way too judgmental. A lot of times people just focus on themselves and not realizing that at some point in your life you needed to get through something, and nobody's plate is ever clear. No. And this world is it's just way too, instead of worrying about the right things and what they feel is right is completely wrong. And I'm grateful for platforms like this, because I always said it, gossiping was never my thing. I don't feel like if you gossip, what is that doing for anybody? But all you're doing is trying to downplay somebody else. Like I said, instead of uplifting them, because I really barely ever see that with men. It's always us the women that do it.
Right.
And we just got to do better. We got to do better and just pour into people. And I just hope that whatever we spoke on today, whether it stuck out to you as far as being a parent at home to your children, opening up your heart to God and getting to a place of true healness within yourself, because you have to get to that in order to get to that next level, you have to be able to look within yourself and say, okay, these are the things that I've gone through, and now these roots, they got to be pulled up out of me, and I got to fill them with the things of God. Because let me tell you guys something. You can pray and you can ask God to take those things from you, but what are you going to start to fill with him? You know, what are you going to start to fill within yourself? You have to start to really pray and ask him to fill you with the things of him, because he will never steer you wrong.
Right, because I remember our apostle, Moraima, Encarnacion, she was doing a teaching, and she had said, once God removes those, you know, that gunk out of you, he has to replace it with something.
Yes.
That's restore you.
Yes,
It was something good. So, just remember that.
Yes, absolutely.
Restore, renew, rejuvenate.
So we're going to be closing on this segment. Thank you for tuning in. For those who had the first time to actually even know what Woman of a Voice is, I would encourage you all to go follow the page on Instagram is Woman with a Voice _. You can also find the website. It's www.womanwithavoice.org. On that, you will find a testimonial of who I truly am. And I'm the CEO of the podcast, as well as you will start to see more of Charlie Sensei and the things that she has to bring, because this woman, let me tell you, she's full of different things that I didn't even know my sister had, and she's been a big encouragement to me when I was going through my days of sickness and things like that. She'll call me and check on me and say, you need to, what's going on with you? Because I tend to like hide in my little cave, and that's only for protecting myself and not to give what I'm going through to somebody else. But I had to learn that, to not be stubborn, and to understand that it's okay to talk to people. It's okay to talk. Sometimes you got to be careful who you share your business with, because not everybody means well. But I'm just so grateful for my sister, and I love you so much. I love you. I love you. And thank you guys for all tuning in. I want to thank my baby girl, Nazaya here. She's saying that she's shy. For those that do know my daughter.
It's my first time, y'all.
No, you guys know that Nazaya is not shy. This is her first time on the podcast. You will be seeing more of her. You will be seeing more of my baby boys, because I am a mom of 3. Like I said, ministry starts at home. And who am I to minister to others if I don't minister to my own household? So I just wanted to thank everybody for tuning in. God bless you all, and I'll see you at the next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye.